Late flight? Lost booking? Huh!
We've got your travel English.
Picture this. It is 11:45 at night. Your flight was delayed 3 hours. You have not eaten since lunch, your phone battery is down to 4%, and the taxi driver charged you double because he took the longer route from the airport. Now you are standing in a hotel lobby, dragging your suitcase across cold tile, staring at a front desk with nobody behind it, wondering whether your room still exists or whether the hotel gave it away hours ago.
That feeling, that mix of exhaustion and quiet hope, is exactly where today's story begins. We are going to follow one traveler through a real hotel night, from the lobby doors all the way to checkout the next morning. And by the end of this episode, you will have every sentence you need to handle the same situation with confidence. If you have ever traveled and felt completely lost at a hotel front desk, this one is for you. Welcome to Pocket English Daily. I am Nora, and today I am your travel survival guide.
And I am Miles, the one who, on my very first trip without my parents, asked the hotel receptionist for the password to my room instead of asking for a key card. She stared at me for a good 5 seconds before she understood what I meant. So trust me, I've been through every embarrassing adulting moment you can imagine at a hotel, and I'm here to make sure you do not repeat my mistakes.
Today we are following a traveler named Casey through one full hotel experience, from the moment she walks through the lobby doors late at night, all the way to checking out the next morning. Along the way, she is going to run into 4 real problems that travelers deal with all the time: a missing reservation, a confusing charge on her banking app, a room that is too noisy to sleep in, and a checkout bill that does not look right.
By the end of this episode, you will know what to say and how to say it politely but firmly when any of these things happen to you. We will teach you the key phrases, explain the vocabulary that hotel receptionists actually use, and give you time to practice every important sentence out loud. So keep your voice ready, because you are going to need it.
Let us check Casey in. Before we watch Casey's night go wrong, it is worth hearing what a normal problem-free check-in actually sounds like. Because if you understand the smooth version first, you will be much better prepared when things do not go according to plan. Miles, let us do a quick role play. You are the guest. I am the receptionist.
Let us do it. Good evening. I have a reservation under Miles Chen. I booked directly through your website about 2 weeks ago.
Welcome to the Grand, Mr. Chen. May I see your passport or ID and a credit card for the security deposit, please?
Sure, here you go. Could you also tell me, is breakfast included in my rate, or is that charged separately?
Breakfast is complimentary for all guests. It is served in the restaurant on the 2nd floor from 7 to 10 in the morning. Now, I have you down for 2 nights in a king room, checking out on Friday morning. Is that correct?
That is correct. One more question, is the Wi-Fi complimentary as well, or do I need a separate access code?
Wi-Fi is free throughout the hotel. The network name and password are printed on the card inside your key folder. Here is your key card. You are in room 407, 4th floor. Elevators are just to your left, past the lobby lounge. Is there anything else I can help you with before you head up?
No, that is everything. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your stay, Mr. Chen. So, that was the dream scenario. Everything smooth, no surprises. But before we move on, let us break down the most important sentence in that exchange. Miles said, I have a reservation under Miles Chen. That phrase, I have a reservation under, followed by your last name, is the single most important sentence you will ever need at a hotel front desk. The word under tells the receptionist that the booking is filed using your surname. Some learners say things like, I reserved a room with name Miles, or my booking name is Miles, and receptionists will usually understand, but it does not sound natural. The correct pattern is always under, followed by your surname.
And did you notice the question I asked? Is breakfast included in my rate, or is that charged separately? I did not just say, do you have breakfast? Because almost every hotel has breakfast. The real question is whether it is included, meaning it comes as part of the room price, or whether it is an additional charge, On top, that one word, included, can genuinely save you money. Because a lot of hotels advertise breakfast in the listing, but charge $15 or $20 extra for it when you actually sit down.
Your turn, listeners. Let us practice. Say this with me, slowly at first. I have a reservation under your last name.
And now this one, at normal speed, is breakfast included in my rate, or is that charged separately?
If you said both of those out loud, you just practiced two of the most useful hotel sentences in English. Now, before we go into Casey's story, let me give you 5 quick words that are going to come up again and again tonight. Think of these as objects in Casey's pocket, things she is carrying with her through the whole episode.
Number 1, confirmation number. That is the code on your phone or in your email that proves your booking exists. But here's the tricky part. If you book through a travel website rather than directly with the hotel, the website's code and the hotel's code might be completely different numbers. We will come back to that because it causes a lot of problems.
Number 2, front desk. That is the reception counter, the very first place you walk to when you enter the hotel. In British English, people sometimes just say reception. Both words mean the same thing.
Number 3, key card. The thin plastic card the receptionist gives you to open your room door. It replaces the old-fashioned metal key in modern hotels, and some hotels are even starting to use your phone instead. Just do not call it the password for my room, like I did. That does not work.
Number 4, amenities. This word covers all the extra features and services the hotel provides. The pool, the gym, the spa, the little bottles of shampoo in your bathroom, the Wi-Fi. If you want to ask about them naturally, the phrase is, what amenities does the hotel offer?
And number 5, complimentary. This is a fancy way of saying free of charge. When a receptionist tells you breakfast is complimentary, that means you do not pay for it. But here is a small warning from personal experience. When I was studying abroad in Tokyo, the hotel listing said complimentary onsen access, onsen being the Japanese word for hot spring bath. I assumed that meant everything about the bath was free. The bath itself was free, but the towel rental was $6, which for a student on a budget is actually a lot. So even when something is described as complimentary, it is always smart to ask exactly what is covered, because the extras can add up quickly. So Casey walks up to the desk. It is almost midnight. She has been traveling for 14 hours straight, 2 flights, 1 layover, and a taxi ride through traffic that felt longer than both flights combined. She is, as we say in English, running on fumes.
Running on fumes means your energy is almost completely gone. The metaphor comes from a car that has used up all its petrol and is running on the last vapor in the tank. The engine is still going, but barely. In English, you can also say I am wiped, which is shorter and more casual, or I am absolutely exhausted, which sounds a bit more formal. All 3 expressions mean essentially the same thing, but running on fumes has the most personality. And it is the kind of phrase that makes you sound natural rather than textbook correct. Hi there! I'm sorry for the late arrival. My name is Casey Hart, and I have a reservation for tonight through Friday. I was supposed to check in this afternoon, but my flight out of Chicago was delayed by about 3 hours, and I only just landed.
Welcome, Miss Hart. No need to apologize at all. Late arrivals happen more often than you might think. May I see your ID and a credit card, please?
Certainly. Here you go. I just want to make sure my room is still available, right? I was a little worried you might have given it away since I am coming in so late.
Let me check for you. Yes, you are all set. We held the room for you because we had your credit card on file as a guarantee. You are a standard king on the 6th floor.
Oh, thank goodness. That is a huge relief. Could I also ask, is there anywhere I can get something to eat at this hour? I have not eaten since lunch, and I'm genuinely starving.
The restaurant closes at 10, unfortunately, but we do have a 24-hour room service menu. You will find it on the desk in your room, or you can dial extension 4 on the room phone. There are also vending machines on the 3rd and 7th floors if you just need something quick to hold you over.
That is perfect. Thank you so much.
Let us step out of the role play for a moment and unpack what just happened. First, when the receptionist said, "You are all set," that is one of those phrases you want to burn into your memory. All set means everything is fine, the situation is resolved, you are good to go. You will hear it constantly in North American English, at hotels, restaurants, airports, even at the dentist. It is a short phrase that carries a lot of reassurance.
And here's something important that Casey was clearly worried about: the concept of a no-show. In hotel language, a no-show is a guest who booked a room but never arrived and never called to explain why. Many hotels have what is called a late arrival cutoff, a specific time, usually around 6 or 8 in the evening, after which they may cancel your reservation and release the room to another guest, especially during busy seasons or holidays.
The simple hack to prevent this is one phone call. If your flight is delayed or, you will arrive after the cutoff time, call the hotel before that deadline and say, "I would like to let you know that I will be arriving late tonight. My reservation is under heart." That single sentence is usually enough to protect your room, and it takes about 15 seconds to say on the phone.
And one more useful detail from that conversation: pay attention to how the receptionist described Casey's room. She said, a standard king on the 6th floor. Hotels use specific room type names, and it really helps to know the most common ones so you do not get confused at check-in. A single is one bed, designed for one person. A double is one larger bed designed for 2 people. A twin means 2 separate beds in the same room. A king or queen refers to the bed size, with king being the largest. And a suite is a larger room that usually includes a separate living area or sitting space.
Knowing these labels is genuinely useful because I have personally shown up at a hotel expecting 2 beds for my friend and me, only to find a single large bed in the room. The booking said double, and I assumed that meant 2 beds. It did not. It meant 1 large bed for 2 people. If I had known the difference between double and twin, I would have booked the right room in the first place. Quick check for our listeners. Why was Casey worried about her room, and what phrase did the receptionist use to reassure her?
She was afraid the hotel had canceled her reservation because she arrived so late. She was worried about being a no-show. And the phrase the receptionist used was, "You are all set?" meaning everything was fine and the room was still hers. If you caught that, your listening is on track. Now, in Casey's story tonight, her check-in went smoothly. But we want to prepare you for a situation that is far more common than you might expect and far more stressful. Imagine that Casey had booked through an online travel website rather than directly with the hotel. And when the receptionist types her name into the system, nothing comes up.
This is one of the most panic-inducing moments a traveler can experience, especially late at night when you are exhausted and there is no backup plan. So let us play it out and make sure you know what to say if it ever happens to you. I booked through a third-party site. I think the website was called Travel Deals or something similar. I have the confirmation email right here on my phone. The reference number is TD-7742.
Thank you. Let me search that for you. I am not finding a reservation under heart with that reference number. This number on your phone. Do you know whether it was issued by the travel website or by the hotel directly?
I honestly have no idea. The website sent it to me when I completed the booking. I assumed it was the hotel's number.
I understand, and this is actually quite common with third-party bookings. The number you have is most likely what we call an itinerary number. That is the tracking code the website uses internally. But our system runs on a separate hotel confirmation number, which the website is supposed to send to us when they finalize the booking. Sometimes there is a delay, or the data simply does not come through correctly.
So what can we do? I have proof right here on my phone that I paid for the room.
Absolutely. Let me try a different approach. Can I look it up by your arrival date, departure date, and last name instead? That sometimes catches bookings that came through without the correct reference code attached.
Absolutely. Hart, H-A-R-T. Checking in tonight, April 4th. Checking out Friday, April 7th.
Let me search. Ah, there it is. The booking came through from the platform about 2 hours ago, but it was filed under a slightly different spelling. Hart? Instead of heart. That is why it did not match initially. I have corrected it now, and you are fully confirmed.
Oh, thank goodness. I was genuinely starting to panic. Thank you so much for figuring that out.
You are welcome. And for future reference, if you ever run into this issue again, the fastest solution is to ask the front desk to search by dates and last name rather than by the website's reference number. That tends to work even when the codes do not match. Let us step back and talk about what just happened because there is a really important lesson buried in that conversation. When you book through a third-party site, and that includes major platforms like Booking.com, Expedia, Hotels.com, or Agoda, the number they give you is not the same as the hotel's own number. The website's code is called an itinerary number. It is the platform's internal tracking reference. The hotel, meanwhile, uses a completely separate confirmation number, which lives in its own reservation system.
These two systems are supposed to communicate with each other automatically, but in practice, the data sometimes arrives late, the guest's name gets misspelled, as we just saw with Hart and Hart, or the booking simply does not transfer at all. And when that happens, you are standing at a desk at midnight with a suitcase and a phone screen, and nobody can find your room.
That is why the most powerful phrase in this situation is not, "Here is my confirmation number." It is, "Can you look it up by date and last name?" Because even when the reference number fails, your name and your dates are almost always somewhere in the system.
Listeners, your turn. Say this with me and really commit to it, because this is the sentence that will save you. I booked through a third-party site. Here's my confirmation email.
Slow, clear. And now the rescue question. Can you look it up by date and last name? And if the absolute worst happens, if the hotel genuinely cannot find your booking after searching by name, dates, and reference number, here is your safety net. I have proof of payment on my phone. Would it be possible to call the booking platform together so we can sort this out? The word together is doing important work in that sentence. It tells the receptionist that you are not blaming them. You are inviting them to solve the problem alongside you. That shift in tone can make a significant difference in how quickly and willingly someone helps you.
And I want to share a quick personal story, because this exact scenario happened to me when I was backpacking through Barcelona with my friends. I walked up to the front desk of our cheap hotel at about 11 at night, showed the receptionist my phone, pointed at the confirmation number, and said, "This is my booking." She typed it in, nothing. She tried again, nothing. I spent about 20 minutes going back and forth, zooming in on my cracked phone screen, getting more and more frustrated. And then I remembered one simple question. Can you look it up by date and last name? She typed in my last name and my check-in date, and the reservation appeared in about 10 seconds. The problem the entire time was that the number on my phone was an itinerary code from the website, not the hotel's confirmation number. 20 minutes of stress, solved by one sentence that I should have said from the beginning. Casey's room is confirmed. She is almost ready to go upstairs, put her head on a pillow, and finally sleep. But as the receptionist processes her credit card, Casey's phone buzzes with a notification from her banking app, and the number on the screen says $187.50 pending.
Wait, I'm sorry, but my banking app just gave me a mini heart attack. It sent me a notification showing $187.50. My room rate is $95 per night. That is almost double my budget. Is there a mistake, or am I being charged for something I did not agree to?
I completely understand the concern, and I am happy to explain. What you are seeing on your phone is not a charge. It is an authorization hold. The hotel places a temporary hold on your card for the first night's room rate, which is $95, plus an additional amount to cover any incidentals you might use during your stay.
Incidentals? What does that include exactly?
Slow, clear incidentals cover any extra services you might use beyond the room itself. Things like minibar purchases, room service orders, the hotel parking garage, pay-per-view movies, or dry cleaning. The hold is essentially the hotel's way of making sure your card has sufficient funds available in case you decide to use any of those services. But here is the important part. If you do not use any of them, the entire hold amount is released back to your account after you check out.
So the money is not actually gone from my account. It is just frozen in place?
That is correct. The funds are reserved temporarily, but they are not debited. Once you check out and we finalize the bill, the hold is released and only the actual charges are processed. The release typically takes 3 to 5 business days, sometimes a little longer depending on your specific bank.
That makes a lot more sense now. Thank you for explaining it so clearly. But would it be possible to see a breakdown of everything I'm going to be charged for? I would just like to understand what is what before I go upstairs.
Of course, I can print you an itemized summary right now. It will show the room rate, taxes, the incidental hold, and any mandatory facility fees, all listed separately, so you can see where every dollar is going.
That scene covers one of the most confusing and stressful parts of any hotel stay, so let us make sure the key concepts are absolutely clear. An authorization hold works like putting a book on reserve at the library. The library marks that book as reserved for you. They take it off the shelf so nobody else can borrow it. But you have not actually taken it home. It is still the library's book. They are just keeping it aside for you temporarily. An authorization hold works the same way. The hotel is reserving some of your available credit, marking it as temporarily spoken for, but they have not actually removed the money from your account.
And an actual charge, on the other hand, is when the library says, "You check this book out, it is now on your record." In financial terms, a charge means the money has left your account and appears as a completed transaction on your statement.
If you are ever unsure which one you are looking at, ask this one question. Is this a hold or an actual charge? That single question can save you from panicking in hotel lobbies for the rest of your traveling life.
And if you want full visibility into every detail of what the hotel is billing you for, whether at check-in or at checkout, use this phrase. "I would like an itemized breakdown, please." Let me explain those two words. Itemized means laid out line by line, with each charge listed individually. And breakdown means the total is split into its component parts so you can see what makes up the final number. This is not a rude request. Reception is expected, and many hotels print this automatically at checkout anyway. The phrase itself sounds polished and professional, and it immediately signals that you are paying attention to your bill.
Slow, clear listeners, say this with me. Is this a hold or an actual charge?
Miles. And now this one, confidently. "I would like an itemized breakdown, please." 4-second pause. Casey finally made it to her room. She dropped her suitcase by the door, kicked off her shoes, adjusted the thermostat to something comfortable, and fell face first onto the bed. For about 30 seconds, everything was perfect, the kind of silence you completely take for granted until it disappears. And then the bass hit. Deep, thudding music from the room next door, loud enough to vibrate the glass on her nightstand.
Hello, this is Casey Hart in room 608. I am really sorry to call at this hour, but I have a serious noise problem. The room next to mine seems to be hosting some kind of party, and the music is loud enough that I can feel it through the wall. I have an early morning ahead of me, and I genuinely cannot sleep in these conditions.
I am very sorry about that, Miss Hart, and thank you for letting us know. We do have quiet hours in effect from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m., and I'm going to send someone up to address the situation immediately. In the meantime, Would you prefer that I check if we can move you to a different room, or would you rather wait and see if the issue resolves on its own first?
Honestly, I would rather not take the chance. Would it be possible to move me to a different room? And if there is anything available, could I get a room on the quiet side, away from the elevator and the ice machine, if possible?
Let me check our availability. I can offer you room 812, same room type, 8th floor, on the courtyard side, which is generally our quietest wing. Shall I prepare that for you?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you handling this so quickly.
Absolutely. I will have your new key cards ready at the desk whenever you come down, and I have noted the noise complaint in your file so our team can follow up in the morning. There are two essential phrases for handling room problems at a hotel, and they work for almost anything: noise, broken air conditioning, a bad smell, whatever the issue might be. The first phrase is proactive. Proactive. You use it at the moment. You are checking in. Before you even receive your key card, could I get a room on the quiet side, away from the elevator? This tells the receptionist precisely what matters to you in a way that is polite and specific without being demanding.
And the second phrase is reactive. You use it after you have already gone to the room and discovered a problem. Would it be possible to move me to a different room? Notice the structure. Would it be possible to is one of the most powerful polite request patterns in English. It is softer than "can you move me?" and far more professional than "I want a different room." It gives the receptionist space to check options without feeling pressured.
And notice the formula Casey used. She described the specific problem first: the music, the vibration, the fact that she cannot sleep. And then she made a specific request, a different room, on the quiet side, away from the elevator. That combination, problem plus specific request, almost always produces results because it shows the other person that you are reasonable, clear, and cooperative rather than just angry.
While we are talking about the room itself, here are a few more terms that come up constantly during hotel stays. If you do not want housekeeping to enter your room while you are resting or working, you can hang the "Not Disturb" sign on the door handle or press the DND button on the phone panel if there is one. That tells the hotel staff to leave your room untouched until you remove the sign. And if you need to stay past the standard checkout time the next morning, maybe your flight is not until the evening, you can call the front desk and ask, "Would it be possible to get a late checkout?" Many hotels will give you an extra hour or two at no charge if they are not fully booked. Let us slow down and walk through every key phrase from tonight one more time. Miles and I are going to take turns. You will hear the phrase, a one-sentence meaning, and a quick real-world example. Your job is to repeat each one out loud. Ready?
Phrase 1. I have a reservation under Hart. Your booking is filed using your last name. Example, I have a reservation under Win for 2 nights starting tonight.
Phrase 2. I booked through a third-party site. You used a travel website, not the hotel directly. Example, I booked through a third-party site, and here is my confirmation email.
Phrase 3. Can you look it up by date and last name? Ask the receptionist to search differently when the reference number does not work. Example, the code from the website is not matching. Can you look it up by date and last name instead?
Phrase 4. Is this a hold or an actual charge? Find out whether your money is frozen temporarily or actually taken. Example, my bank app shows a pending amount. Is this a hold or an actual charge?
Phrase 5. Could I get a room on the quiet side, away from the elevator? Make a proactive request before you receive your key. Example, I am a light sleeper. Could I get a room on the quiet side?
Phrase 6. Would it be possible to move me to a different room? Ask politely after you have found a problem. Example, the air conditioning is not working. Would it be possible to move me?
Phrase 7. I would like an itemized breakdown, please. Ask to see every charge listed on a separate line. Example, before I sign, I would like an itemized breakdown, please.
And phrase 8, is breakfast included or is it an additional charge? Check whether a service comes with your room or costs extra. Example, quick question, is parking included or is it an additional charge?
Now let us test this together. I will describe a quick situation, Nora will ask you to respond, and then we will both give you the answer. Here we go. You arrive at a hotel. You booked online 2 weeks ago. What is the first thing you say to the receptionist?
3 seconds. Listeners, think fast. I have a reservation under.
Next one. The receptionist cannot find your booking and the number on your phone is not working. What do you ask? I booked through a third-party site. Can you look it up by date and last name?
Last one, your bank app shows more money than expected after check-in. What do you say? Is this a hold or an actual charge?
If you got even 2 out of 3, that is a real win. Those 3 phrases alone will carry you through 90% of hotel check-in problems.
8 phrases. That is what Casey needed to get through an entire hotel night. From a delayed flight, to a missing booking, to a mystery charge on her phone, to a room that shook with bass music. She did not need perfect grammar. She did not need a C2 vocabulary. She needed the right sentences, said clearly and politely. And now you have them too.
Here is your homework, and it is genuinely easy. In the comments, use one phrase from today to describe a hotel experience you have had. For example, I booked through a third-party site, and the hotel could not find my reservation. Or, I asked if breakfast was included, and the receptionist said it was complimentary. One sentence. We will read some of our favorites in a future episode.
If this episode helped, please share it with someone who travels, whether for work or for fun. They will thank you later. We also have a free listener mini pack with all 8 phrases, a vocabulary sheet, and a practice exercise. The link is in the description below.
Next time on Pocket English Daily, we are talking about money. How to split a bill, how to ask the price politely, how to say you are on a budget without feeling embarrassed. It is going to be a good one.
See you then. And no matter where you are staying tonight, you already know more English than you think.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Ready for your next trip?
Ha ha.
See you in the next lesson.